Hello and welcome to UK Fitness Hub. My name's Tarrant, and in today's video we're going to be looking at internal shoulder rotation. We're going to be going through what it is as well as how to test out your internal shoulder rotation and looking at the best stretches and exercises to improve your internal shoulder rotation. Let's get into it. So let's take it back to basics. What does internal and external rotation of the shoulder actually mean? So internal rotation is to bring something closer towards the midline of the body, and external rotation is to bring it further away. So what does that look like practically? This is internal rotation and that's external rotation. Now don't look at my hand now, just look at my shoulder. External, I'm bringing it further away from the midline. Internal, it's come towards the midline. So the shoulder joint has many different muscle actions, 4 of which are frontal flexion, abduction, adduction, and also extension. Now, to be able to perform these movements really well, we need a good degree of external and internal rotation. If we lack internal rotation, what we might find, let's take extension, we might find the side that lacks internal rotation comes to here, and the good side comes all the way to there. There might be a discrepancy between one side and the other. A good test is if you used to put your arm behind your back and reach up as high as possible with your elbow into your side. How high can that arm come up? So my hand comes quite high up my back in between my shoulder blades, and that's because I've got really good internal rotation. Now on my right hand side, it's not as good. I can't come up as high, it's a little bit lower. For some people, however, if they've got really bad internal rotation, they might find that actually they get to here, and that's as far as they can go before the shoulder hoiks up or the shoulder starts to come forwards. So the first thing we're going to do in today's video is we're going to test out how your internal shoulder rotation is. Let's get into it. To test your internal rotation, start off by lying on your back with your knees bent and bring your elbow in line with your shoulder. Ensure your forearm and wrist are pointing upwards and keep your elbow in contact with the floor. Place your free hand on top of your shoulder and gently apply pressure to ensure the shoulder keeps and stays in contact with the floor. Try to touch your palm and wrist as close to the floor without moving the position of your elbow and shoulder off the floor or adjusting the position of your elbow. When you can't go any further, this is your range of internal rotation. If you find the shoulder is losing contact with the floor whilst doing this, you've gone too far. A healthy range of internal rotation is between 70 and 90 degrees. To test your external rotation, you would do exactly the same thing, but this time you would go in the opposite direction. Ideally, you want 90 degrees of external rotation. There are a few exceptions where individuals might require more than 90 degrees of internal and external rotation. For example, cricket and baseball players, as they use the shoulder for repetitive throwing motions. Test your range of movement on both sides for discrepancies. There is a standing variation of that test. So if you used to take your arm out, you're looking to get your elbow and shoulder in line and then your elbow and hand in line. Once you're in that position, 90 degrees of external rotation would look like this, and then 70 degrees or 90 degrees of internal rotation. So that's what you're looking for. Now you've tested it out, you know how far away you are from that. If you've got a limited range of motion when it comes to internal rotation, the medical term for this is Glenohumeral Internal Rotation Deficit or Dysfunction. And all the stretches and exercises we're going to cover can be used for Gird, and that's the abbreviation GIRD. Also as well, it's worth noting that what we're doing in this video is we're trying to increase internal rotation range of movement. We're not looking to stretch out, in this case, the internal rotators of the shoulder. That's a little bit of a different topic. So it's all about trying to increase range of movement. Let's get into some of the stretches and exercises that we can do to start improving our internal rotation. Starting off with the most basic stretch we can do, which is a gentle dynamic stretch. Start off side lying with your body straight and place your elbow out to the side of your body in line with your shoulder. Then begin to bend your elbow to a 90-degree angle. I would heavily advise you use a pillow for this stretch and the stretches coming up that are also side lying for maximum comfort. Dynamic stretches are done through movement rather than holding a static position. I want you to slowly move into internal rotation and then back to the start position. Each time you do this movement, I want you to go a little bit further as far as the shoulder allows you to as it begins to warm up. Complete 15 repetitions for 3 sets. I commonly get asked if you need to do both sides on movements like this, and the simple answer is only if you need to. If your other arm has perfect range of movement, then it's not necessary. If you manage the last variation, you can progress onto a static stretch. Static stretches are where you hold a single position for a period of time. In this case, I want you to come into internal rotation until you feel the stretch, then begin to hold that position for 30 seconds, 2 sets over. Stretches can cause mild discomfort, which is natural, but you should stop immediately if you start to feel any sharp pain or pins and needles and tingling down the arm. Be gentle with the stretch to begin with and don't force it. At a glance, this may look like the same stretch. This time, however, I'm going to do a contraction and relaxation technique. Begin in the same position and go to where you can feel a stretch. Now I want you to push externally. So in the video, I'm pushing against my free hand. I contract with approximately 30% of my power. My free hand, which I'm contracting into, is ensuring there's no movement whilst I do this. Once I've contracted for 15 seconds, I take a big deep breath, relax the contraction, and then push further into internal rotation. Once I've gone into this new further position, I'm going to hold it for 20 seconds. This is to allow my body to become accustomed to the new position, and then I'm going to repeat the process one more time. So contracting in the new position externally for 15 seconds, relaxing and pushing into a further internal stretch, and then 20 seconds of becoming accustomed to the new position. The first exercise that we're going to look at is to improve our behind the back internal rotation. It's a simple exercise that you can do seated or standing. Bring one hand behind the back slowly, go as far as you can go, and then return your hand back to the side of your body and repeat for 15 repetitions. Only go as far as is comfortable and gradually try to get higher. For some, that might look like this, going to the belt line, and for others, it may look like this, going further up the spine. Whatever variation you do and how far you go, make sure that your elbow is tucked as close to your side as possible, and make sure you're not hoiking up the shoulder and elevating the shoulder to cheat during the movement. Complete 3 sets in total. Finally, we're going to look at an assisted exercise. Take a belt and begin to make a loop. Then bring your hand behind your body of the same side that you would like to work and thread your hand through the loop. Once in this position, bring the belt over the opposite shoulder and pull down to elevate the arm into internal rotation. I like this one as it allows my hand, wrist and arm to completely relax as I pull with my opposing hand. This means that I can relax but still have complete control of the exercise. I want you to do 15 repetitions for 2 sets, focusing on going higher each time. Some people quite like to use the belt to do a static stretch at the top, but in this variation, we're just doing repetitions. Either way is fine, and do what's comfortable. And that concludes the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments box. I'll try and get back to them as quickly as possible. If you learned something new, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more educational content. You've been watching UK Fitness Hub. I've been Travis Tarrant. I'll see you soon.